Hello and welcome to part 2 of my video tutorial, How to Draw a House in 2-Point Perspective. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Circle Line Art School, to see over 50 of my How to Draw videos, including part 1 of this How to Draw tutorial, where I show you how to draw a house from the very basics of perspective to a more detailed drawing. So for this video I'm going to use a tin of watercolours and just a small nylon brush. Once you're satisfied that you've got a pencil drawing and the lines are where you want them, you can start painting, and I'm going to start with the sky, just laying a very faint wash of blue, which is really more water than anything else, over the area of the sky which I want to paint. So I'm making the paper wet, so that in a moment I'm going to add some slightly darker blue and it's going to bleed into the wet paper and move around. So as I do this, you can see the paint wanting to spread out and bleed. And it also means that with watercolour I've got a little bit more time because the water is going to stay wet, and therefore I can push the paint around just with water on my brush, making the sky quite fluid, trying to recreate some of the movement that you get in clouds and sky. So it's not a static image in the sense of the sky always, I think, wants to show some sense of movement. So watercolour is very good for that, because the actual water as you're painting it can move around and spread. So in here I'll just put some of the same colour into the details of the trees, in between the branches as it were. And now I'll add a slightly darker colour of blue, and that will again bleed into the wetness of the paper. I'm painting around the clouds, making the sky quite fluid, which is the effect I want. So I'm starting from the darker edge around the chimney. I'm going to work into this cloud here now, because I'm sort of just making this up, seeing what feels right, what works. Some of the edges of the clouds might want to be quite well defined, whereas other areas might want to just blend into the white paper that I started with. So I'm just checking that I do the sky all in one go. With watercolour it's best to work from the background to the foreground, from the lightest colour to the darkest colour, and from the general shape to the more detailed shapes. So starting at the background, lighter colour that's going to be in the sky. I'm just blending now some of the water with the colour so that I can define the clouds as much as the blue between them. And I'm making sure that the tonal contrast with the buildings is stronger, so the sky is slightly darker near buildings. Making sure the sky goes all the way down to the horizon. So it's quite important really to do the sky all in one go and then just leave it. I'm going to do a bit now with some kitchen paper just to loosen it up and make it not quite heavy. But once it's done, it's best to leave it, because if you go back into it, it's just going to show up as a different painting. So it's not going to be fluid all in one go. It's going to seem like two stages, and it would be better, I think, to look like it's all done in one stage, because it is. Moving on to the next colour, I'll start with the roof of the thatched cottage, putting down a yellow which is quite pale. Now this yellow that I'm using has got a little bit of the blue of the sky in it, so it makes it slightly green, because I'm going to try and keep it so that the palette that I use, the range of colours that I use, is limited. So I'm just going to use yellow, blue, Payne's grey, green and red. So anywhere where there's this sort of slightly dirty yellow, I shall place it on the watercolour straight away. Make sure the watercolour is fluid enough to fill up the shape that I need to paint. So making sure that I've got enough of the colour before I start applying it to the picture, because otherwise you have to mix up a colour halfway through, which is always quite difficult because you have to work quite fast with watercolour. Now I'm just adding a few marks for the green, so using a green made out of the blue of the sky and the yellow of the thatched cottage, so keeping the colour simple. And then I'll apply the same green, similar green, up into the trees here now. Because I've left it a little bit, it means that the sky is dry, so that the trees will not blend into the sky and they'll stay quite separate, which is what I want to achieve. And now I'm going to use a darker green, an actual green, not one that I've mixed up. And again, wherever I see a use for this green, I'll put it in all at the same stage so that the image has a unity to it. So the trees on the right, bushes on the right, and then I'll use a slightly lighter green at the base here. And now I'm getting almost to the end of the picture. I'm going to use a Payne's grey for the darker pieces of wood, the red for the chimneys, add some more colours into the green, create some tonal contrast, and there we're about done. So just speeding up at the end just to do the details and to increase the tonal contrast of the overall image. I hope you like this video tutorial and find it useful for your own drawing and painting. And I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Circle Line Art School, for many more art videos. So see you next time, and thank you for watching.